Welcome back to Ever Talk Live. We are here with author Kimberly Tronic, and she's got the book, Dear Diary, Does This Cancer Make My Ass Look Fat? What a title.
Thank you. I was going for something that captured the mood, if you will, and I felt like that pretty much described it.
This is so interesting, though, because it's beyond just a memoir. It is a little bit sarcastic, but you had a very interesting approach to your own personal journey with cancer.
Sure. Cancer is terrifying. There's no way around it. Cancer, I think itself isn't funny, but I think the way you can approach how you handle it can be funny. So I like to make that distinction because people have said, cancer is funny. I don't know if I agree with that. I think cancer itself is not, but the way you handle it can be funny. So humor played a huge part in the way that I dealt with the journey.
Wow. So can you take us back a little bit to sort of the beginning when you were diagnosed and sort of what that sort of, entire process looked like?
Sure. So I've been having off and on some pains in my upper right abdomen. I thought nothing of it. It was about 6 months of that, but it happened so infrequently that I didn't think anything was wrong. Then all of a sudden other things started kind of happening. I was feeling queasy. I had stomach bloating, which now I know are classic signs of ovarian cancer, which is what I had. So when I noticed things starting to, go awry, I went to the emergency room for what I thought might be a gallbladder problem. They kept me overnight. They did a bunch of tests. And then the following morning, I got the news. Nobody ever wants to wake up to that type of news, but someone came in and said, "Good morning, you have cancer." I was like, well, this isn't a very good morning anymore.
Not so much.
No,
yeah.
But so the bomb kind of detonated and everything really just picked up very quickly from there. We began treatment, I think literally just a week later. And so I was like, don't I have time to process, losing my hair? But they're like, oh, we need to start treatment now. So we jumped into chemo and then we did surgeries and we did more chemo. And it was about, I think 9 months or so from beginning to end of 2017, but I'm healthy now, so that's what matters.
And you also documented the wild chemo outfits. You didn't exactly dress the part.
Right.
You really dressed the part.
That was another way that humor sort of helped me cope with everything. And I didn't go into it thinking I should dress this way or be this way. It was sort of an evolution, if you will. Once my hair started falling out and we shaved my head, I started wearing wigs, and I noticed the positive feedback I got from other patients and nurses while I was getting chemo. And I thought, wow, if I can brighten their day, that actually brightens my day. So from the wigs, I actually started bringing props to chemo. One day, and anybody who looks at my Instagram can attest to this, I don't know why, don't ask me why, I brought a pineapple to chemo, and I just sort of placed it there. We didn't cut it up, we didn't eat it, but just seeing a pineapple there, I was like,
Kind of funny.
that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So the next time, I brought a martini glass and a cocktail shaker, and again, don't ask me why. I just filled it with water, and I was like, who wants a chemo-tini? So I think I might have just done it for the gram at that point, just for the Instagram photos.
Sure. Right.
Yeah. But that made me laugh. That made everybody else laugh, and that felt great. So from there, it evolved into costumes, and then the costumes just became a tradition. And I think my favorite one was the coconut bra that I wore to chemo, because can you think of anything more out of place than a coconut bra in the chemo ward?
Totally.
So that was luau day, again, on my Instagram, at Kimberly Tronic. And I told my oncologist, and I still stand by this, it's impossible to be scared of chemo when you're wearing a coconut bra. So the costumes, in a sense, became sort of like a suit of armor, if you will. Mm-hmm. And again, fed back into the positive aspect of things and the humor, which really helped me heal and cope with things.
Just incredible. I'm inspired by it, not only your sense of humor, but also your resilience.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Have you always been resilient? I mean, imagine this, a situation like this makes you even more resilient. But where does that resilience and where does that sense of humor come from?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think, to a certain extent, maybe I had some of that in me. My mother's a very positive person, and so I take after her a lot. And truthfully, a lot of people have said, you're an inspiration, you're strong, even though I maybe don't feel like it, but you really don't know what you're made of until you have to go through something like this. You don't have an option. You can't just give up. You have to get up and keep fighting and keep plowing through the trauma every day. But that's really where the positive vibes and the humor came in and helped me heal and help me cope and help me process everything, because It's hard to cry and be scared when you're laughing at your ridiculous outfit. I wore like a cat getup, a bunny outfit, a queen. I was the queen of chemo one day, very royal. So it's hard to be scared and terrified and want to give up when you're laughing. So that really flipped the script for me, and I think became an integral part of my healing was the humor and the positivity.
Oh, I love it. Were there any props or costumes that you felt like went too far, so you never did it? Like you didn't introduce them into the...
There was one costume in particular, which I'm not going to mention because I'm a lady and I'm classy, but I would keep it's a little inappropriate. Where I went to the costume shop every time before chemo, and there was one costume, and I'm not sure if I'm
risque?
to say the least.
Hopefully, maybe it's in your Dear Diary
It's
book.
not. It's actually even too risque to say that, but I cracked up in the aisles of the costume store and I said, is this too much? And then I realized I don't want to offend people.
Right.
I want to make people laugh and feel good and bring some sunshine and some positivity, but I would never want to offend anyone. So I let that one stay on the shelf. Maybe at some other point I can make that into a Halloween costume. But for now, let's just keep it happy and positive and not offensive.
Totally.
Well, congratulations on the success and your remission, and of course the book. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's available on Amazon as both an ebook and paperback. So head on over to Amazon.com. You can holler at me anywhere online at Kimberly Tronic on Instagram, Facebook, and all the socials if you want.
Ah, such an inspiration. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
I
much, Kim.
appreciate it.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more Never Talk Live.